I'm back. I'm sorry, this is actually work for me. Um, so, um, and I'm posting content to my page. So if you feel like I'm spamming, um, perhaps don't look up my page for a bit. But I must move on. One of my little custom accidents, it became a shirt. Let's see. Yesterday, I did chapter 1 and 2 of one of my books called I Am Pheonix. It's some of my Christianese, and some of that stuff is mandatory for me to pump out here and there because it's good. It's good for the vibes. Chapter 3 is pretty cool. So let's just get going, right? Chapter 3. Dum dum. The good life starts now. Say it. I am now living the good life. I understand that the best life possible is through service to my fellow man and woman, and I desire to live the most abundant life. Not very abundant, but this is for the greater good of our community. We have to use our God-given gifts to preserve or to serve others. Today, it seems that many people claim to be depressed or overwhelmed, unable to offer help to anyone but themselves. The selfish life, however, is the least fruitful. How often do you hear statements like, I'm shy, so I'm not going to make you feel welcome. I'm tired, so I'm not going to give you a hand up. I'm behind on my bills, so I can't help you financially. I'm not close to God, so I can't pray for you. I'm not in the garden, so I can't offer you a piece of fruit. Lack is everywhere. Pessimism shapes our world beyond just what we see. When we desire something and don't have it, whether it's necessary or not, it deeply affects us. Excuse me. Tired. It deeply affects us. The root of suffering is wanting. If we never wanted the latest phone, for example, we wouldn't suffer from its absence. But all of this could be solved by serving each other. We are placed on this earth to serve one another, and in their final moments, people often remember this truth most clearly. The wealth of service. Another great reason to serve rather than to cheat or steal from others is that people naturally want to share their wealth. Money is simply a representation of value. At times, it feels heavy in our pockets because we are eager to spend it on experiences, comforts, and, often, people. The wealth we seek is held by others. Service is what unlocks that exchange of value. Some choose to lie, cheat, steal to get it, but shortcuts inevitably lead us back to where we started, here at rock bottom. There are plenty of bad options, but we're here in this chapter to discuss the right way to live an abundant life. Do thieves and murderers go to heaven? Even a child would say no. There's a clear distinction between good and bad. We wouldn't place bad people into a good place. A good shepherd wouldn't let wolves tear apart his flock. Why would we expect unrepentant criminals to thrive among those who treasure life? The world has too many worst-case scenarios. But Christ's example, even here, offers a way out. He showed us how to live and die the right way. Biblical principles teach us how to live the truly abundant life that Christ promised. As the Good Shepherd, he set the ultimate example of how to lead and serve. How can we achieve greatness and live a rich, abundant life? Through service to many. The value you provide to others that unlocks their treasure in exchange for your services. Goods and services are traded for value represented by currency. Goods and services are traded for value represented by currency. And the currency is in other people's pockets. The way to get the money is to serve them. Figure out what they want, figure out what kind of problems you can solve for them, what kind of work you can do for them, and in return, they will share some of their money with you. That's how business 101. Many great thinkers have explored what it means to live a good life. Many great authors have shared their insights of those who are successful, rich, happy, and blessed. Living a good life can be studied, observed, and shared with anyone willing to seek it. We have only one life, so it might as well be a good one. This is why books like this exist. This is why books like this exist, to guide us on the path to a rich and happy life. Simply put, the key to living abundantly is service to others. Jesus, in one of his teaching moments, explained to his disciples that to be great in the eyes of God, one must serve the many. How we serve is up to our unique gifts and abilities, which we will further discuss in this book. For now, we're still laying a solid foundation as we get to meet together at this rock bottom. I write these words a full 12 years later, after my first encounter with God. It's been a long journey of personal development, trial and error, but life is about growth. Our understanding deepens as we progress, and each new level brings fresh opportunities. In nature, everything grows to its full potential, and once growth stops, death begins. While some choose to quit growing at different points in life, we must keep going. There's much life left to live. Look at us, here at rock bottom, discussing how much life we have left to live. And not just any life, but an abundant life. We cannot operate on higher levels unless we grow into the character needed to handle those heights. In retrospect, I see these truths more clearly. To handle much, we must first handle little. Everything builds upon itself, and we're building a case for living an abundant life by starting with this foundation. Let's see. Oh yeah, almost done. Intermission point. That's a pretty easy foundation, right? So ignoring the Christian stuff aside, ignoring that we have a maker and that he has a written book of instructions to help us out, because we don't seem to just listen or hear him, right? Some people do. Some people encounter him or hear him, but that's why the Bible exists. That's why people study it, because there is some significance to some spiritual truths, which is why we all pretty much are aware of multiple religions and know many people who are part of these organized belief systems, right? And the goal is for all of us, we're kind of just looking to find the best way to live and to serve a higher being and to feel cleansed on the inside, because we know that good and bad energy and karma, the law of sowing and reaping still happens. So usually when we fall down flat on our face, aka a form of rock bottom, it's somewhere along the lines wrong seeds have been sown and we're reaping the benefits of them, right? So it could be a drug addiction, it could be a morally bankrupt choice, criminal stuff, cheating on your spouse, some secret just some secret type of resentment or poisonous things on the inside, right? I don't know why it keeps shrinking. Anyways, last couple pages. It's not very professional, but we're not trying to be professional here, right? What you don't want to do is read this freaking book, and I'm reading it for you. I think vaping is bad for my health, and I'm instructed to take good care of it. However, but also now that I'm working out, I clearly know that this is bad for my lungs. I can see how it affects my performance while I run, while I lift, while I perform, walk up the stairs, and it's definitely not a good thing, right? So the Bible isn't full of just stuff. I can see how if I were to be a violent man and I were to kill somebody or cause violence, it would cause me to become haunted, right? The law of sowing and reaping. So here we are at rock bottom, talking about how to live a good life. And some of these are just ideas. We first have to understand that we don't need to do anything for God to extend an olive branch, right? A hand of mercy to us. We just simply have to realize that we need a higher power, and we just call out to him for help, right? And then something happens within us in the moment, in the room. Something changes. If we think about it, right? Some of us have experienced some significantly spiritual moments, and maybe sometimes we can't even piece that together. But there is something out there. There is something around us. There are spirits. There are yeah, there's a lot more than just meets the eye to this world. The simple version of this is God's salvation is a free gift. Nothing we have to do. However, to live a good life, there's a lot to do. There's a lot of work. There's a lot of organization within ourselves that we have to do in order to be aligned, at peace, and proceed with, I guess, alignment within myself, right? So I'm not torn between I'm tired, I really don't want to be here, or I know what I want, I'm here to get it, and I'm in the middle of the opportunity, right? Versus like, I really don't want to be here, I'd rather go play, but I'm stuck at work. Like, there's a certain incongruence of how we live, right? So here we are. If we were to simplify a couple things, aka the first couple chapters, and then conclude that if we don't want to be poor anymore, we have to be helpful to others. So solve their problems, offer services, sell them goods, stuff that they want and need and are willing to change money for it. And then hopefully we can build that idea on some good morals and some ethically sound principles. So, and I think the Bible is kind of dope for just that. So it has a couple good inputs. We have AI, and it's kind of plenty easy to do. So this already a 15-minute video. Building on a solid foundation. There are many principles in life, but not all build you up. Some pretend, some are false, some are temporary. So why would I build my life's work on a faulty foundation? And this was actually one of my pain points. Is here I was, married 8 years, bought a house. I was trying to build a little shop to put a business in the back so that it can pay off for the house. Just had a kid, had all these big goals, but my foundation was just not quite solid. And at the least convenient time, it seems like stuff seems to fall apart, right? Until sometimes everything shakes you up, and it all falls apart because um, morally sound ethics, right? So some stuff just has to be on some solid ground. 7 years into my journey of searching for a way to live an abundant life, a life of happiness, resources, and freedom to spend my life with family or any way I choose, I realized something crucial. I lacked the character to hold onto anything worthwhile. No foundation was built, no strategy was set. I was like a little raft being tossed by life's currents. Excuse me. Delusion has ruined many lives. Thinking we control aspects of life that we don't is dangerous. To escape the consequences of bad decisions, we must grow. Nothing in life is free of problems, but with the right information and a commitment to growth, we can enrich our lives beyond our wildest dreams. God has an incredible life planned for you. To live it, you need to remain connected to Him, like a branch connected to a tree, producing good fruit. And guess what? People need and want that fruit. So, the secret to a great life is work. There is work to do on ourselves and even more work to do for others. The more we serve, the more we are enriched. We trade our work for value, and in return, we receive the wealth of others. Living abundantly requires work, but not in the way we often imagine. It's not about earning salvation. Christ already took care of that. Salvation requires no additional effort on our part, but to live a life full of meaning, to bring heaven to earth, and to be useful to God's kingdom requires work. See you in the field.